The House That Was Not. Flora, barely 17, had married Bart Fleming and moved to his vast, sprawling ranch on the plains. Their home was a modest shack nestled amidst 320 acres of rustling corn and rye. As the sun dipped below the horizon each day, Flora, perched by her sewing window, was captivated by the endless sea of swaying corn, its scent and sound filling her senses. It was her own private world, a theater, a gallery, a symphony, and she relished every moment of it. When the harvest came, the corn was cut, and Flora's gaze extended beyond the fields, revealing a landscape she had never seen before. Rolling hills stretched out towards the west, bathed in the golden light of the setting sun. A new world had been unveiled, filled with wonder and beauty. As the sun sank lower, its fiery glow bled across the sky, leaving behind wispy tendrils of gold that danced along the horizon. Even the storms held a peculiar fascination for her. The western sky would writhe with purple clouds, jagged and electric, creating a dramatic display of nature's power. "You'll see all sorts of strange things out here on the plains," Bart chuckled, noticing Flora's fascination. "It's the wind, you see." "But Bart, you can't see the wind," Flora exclaimed, baffled. "Now, Flora," Bart reassured her, a twinkle in his eye. "You're a smart girl, but you haven't seen everything these plains have to offer. I've been here for 3 years, waiting for you, and I know these lands like the back of my hand. Some things are truly strange, beyond belief, until you witness them yourself. But some people, they just can't believe what they see. As for the wind, if you lie down flat and look towards the west, you can see it, like a ribbon, sweeping across the ground. Sometimes it's the color of air, sometimes silver and gold. And when a storm's coming, it's purple." "Well, if you were so tired of staring at the wind," Flora teased, "why didn't you marry someone else instead of waiting for me all this time?" Bart, ignoring the cheeky remark, scooped her up in his arms, playfully tossing her towards the ceiling of their humble dwelling. "Come now," he laughed. "You're not homesick, are you? Missing my company already?" It took a bit of coaxing, but Flora eventually steered the conversation back to her initial curiosity. "Bart, what about that little shack over there? Who lives in it?" She turned away from the window, her eyes still adjusting from the setting sun, and thought she saw a flicker of fear cross Bart's face. But the sun's glare could easily have played tricks on her vision. "Bart, why aren't you answering? If there are other people around, I'd love to meet them. It can be pretty lonely out here, day after day." Bart enveloped her in a warm embrace. "No homesickness, sweetheart. You're not tired of me, are you?" After a moment, Flora returned to her question. "But the shack, Bart. Tell me, who lives there?" "I don't know them," he replied, a hint of tension in his voice. "Are those biscuits ready, Flora?" Flora, sensing something was amiss, dug her heels in. "Those biscuits won't be ready until I know about that house, and why you haven't mentioned it before, and why no one ever travels down that road. Someone lives there, I know, because I see the smoke from the chimney every morning and evening." Bart's eyes widened, a flicker of surprise crossing his face. "You do you? Well, you know, I've thought I saw that too." "Well, why not?" Flora retorted, frustration creeping into her voice. "Why shouldn't you see it?" "Look here, Flora. Come have these biscuits with me," Bart said, gently leading her away from the window. "There's no house there." "Oh dear, you dropped the biscuits. Let me help you pick them up." "Goodness, they're hot. Now sit here on my knee. Now look over at that house. Do you see it? It's not there. Not at all. I saw it the first week I was here. I was miserable, missing you, wondering why you hadn't written. You were mad at me, remember? So I rode over there one day just to have someone to talk to, and there was no house. I spent the whole Sunday looking for it. I even asked Jim Geary about it. He just laughed and looked a little pale, saying it would take me a long time to find it. He said it was just an old joke, a story. A joke? What? Bart continued. Here's what he told me. A man and his wife moved out here, built that little place. She was young, you know, a bit scared, lonely. It got to her, and one day she killed her baby, her husband, and then herself. People found them and buried them right there on their own land. 2 weeks later, the house burned down. No one knows how. Tramps, maybe. It burned. Well, at least, I think it burned. You think it burned? Well, it's not there, is it? But if it burned, there'd be ashes. Okay, girlie, they're there then. Now let's have tea. Despite the chilling story, Flora and Bart enjoyed a cheerful evening together. But the mystery of the disappearing house lingered in Flora's mind. As dawn broke, she couldn't resist the urge to investigate. She slipped out of the house and, looking towards the west, saw the little shack silhouetted against the morning sky. Mounting her own yellow Bronco, Ginger, she set off at a brisk pace. The house didn't seem any closer, but the surrounding landscape grew more distinct, fueling her determination. As she approached the poplar trees north of the house, the shack began to fade, like a shadow vanishing in the sunlight. She spurred Ginger onward, pushing him towards the spot where the house had stood. But there was nothing there, just tall, unyielding grass. In the middle of it lay a baby's shoe. Flora hesitated, a chill running down her spine. Anger replaced her fear, and she urged Ginger forward, but the Bronco reared back, snorting in terror. He gathered his strength and, with a burst of raw power, bolted back towards home. The end. If you like the story, hit that like button and subscribe for more videos. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Was there anything that surprised you? Who's your favorite character in the story? I can't wait to hear your thoughts.